What is up, guys? Giants01 here with my very first FIFA 16 tutorial. And of course, I'm going to start off with what I believe to be the most important part of FIFA, and that is defending. This tutorial is going to be similar to my FIFA 15 defending tutorial, but it's going to go a lot more in depth, and I'm going to talk about a lot of things that are really important in FIFA 16. Guys, it is important to note that FIFA 16 defending is actually a lot easier than FIFA 15 because you no longer have to worry too much about lob through balls, you no longer have to worry too much about pace, and your defenders get in passing lanes a lot quicker, their reaction times are a lot better, and the attackers are quite the opposite. They're a lot slower, their reaction times are a lot slower. You can't just pass the ball up the pitch really quickly and expect to go on the counterattack. As you can see here in these few examples, it's just not as easy as before. But there's still some tips you really have to follow in order to become really good at FIFA 16. And the first one is to stay back, guys. It is how I started my FIFA 15 tutorial, and it is how I'm starting this tutorial. It is so important. You want to make sure with your back line, your center backs, your right back, your left back, you're constantly pushing them back and staying in between the attacker and the goalkeeper at all times. Make them make mistakes, guys. Don't try to put pressure. Don't try to do all this stuff and go on the counterattack and constantly always want the ball. Take your time, be patient, make them make the mistakes. They're going to run into you because they're going to run out of space, and they're going to have to run into you if you stay between them and the goalkeeper. Now, when you want to apply pressure, if they like to pass the ball, if they like to maintain possession, when you want to apply pressure, use your CDM or any midfielder if you don't use a formation with CDMs. And this is the play you should be controlling most of the time. You should rarely use your center back. Center back should only be used in last case scenarios when it's the only player left between the ball and the goal. You should definitely use your CDM for pressuring the opponent, for taking the ball away from them, for getting in passing lanes, constantly using your CDM. Now, here's something new and something that's going to go really in depth for defensive mentality. Is going to really help you, and that's threats. So here I split up the defending portion of the pitch into 3 sections. The first one is the danger section, what I like to call the red section, the danger section. And this is where around 90% of the goals in FIFA 16 come from. Most people score right there in that penalty box. You can expand this whole section a little bit out more, but that is really where it goes. So you want to protect that part of the pitch above anything else. That is your main priority because most of the goals are going to go there. The next section is the yellow section. I like to call that the cutback zone because a lot of people like to go to that section and then try to cut back towards the red, so that's where they can actually score. Because if you try to shoot from the yellow, you really don't have angles. Unless if you have a really good player like a Ronaldo or you're an incredibly good long shot taker, you're not going to make that shot because you really have no angle. So what you want to do, and most people try to do, is try to fool the opponent into thinking they're going to that yellow zone, so they overplay them and then cut back in with a fake shot or some sort of skill move to get inside and take a shot to the red zone. And lastly, the blue zone, which I like to call the cross zone, because you should never, ever with a defender be in that blue zone. You should always be waiting around in the yellow zone because they cannot make a goal from that blue zone. There's no way he's going to score from the blue zone. He's either looking to cross it or to cut back in. So stay in that yellow zone, play defense, jockey around there, and expect them to either cross it in or to cut inside, do some skill move, and then play. But their main priority is going to be that red zone. So that's the main thing you want to stop because most of the goals are going to come from there. But let's just take an in-depth look. First, here's a blue threat. As you see here, he's in the blue zone. There's no way he can score from there. So what I do is I pick my left back, and I want to move him towards that yellow zone because there's no point in me following him to the blue zone since I know he's not going to shoot. He's either going to try to cut back in or cross it. And in this case, he ends up trying to cross it, but he really had nobody there, and he was unable to score. I'm going to show you another example of another blue threat. Again, he's all the way down here in the bottom of the screen. There's no way he's going to score from there. So what I do is take my defender and I want to move him towards that yellow zone, towards the part of the pitch where it's actually dangerous, where he can actually score a goal from. I don't care if he goes all the way to the blue zone. I'm just constantly there jockeying, and that's exactly what happens. He tries to cut back inside, and I'm there waiting for him because that's what I knew he was going to try to do. Here's a yellow threat. So here, he's in that yellow zone of the pitch, and I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to go inside. I don't mind him shooting that shot from right there. There's no way he's going to score that. It's way too far. And then lastly, here's a red threat. This is so common, and it happens so much, and people really mess up. Here, you can see that I drew that yellow line because that's where he wants me to think he's gonna go. He wants me to think he's going towards that yellow zone, and I'm like, okay, you can go towards that zone. I have no problem with that. I'm gonna stay a little bit behind and protect the red zone, because more than likely what he's gonna try to do is try to act like he's going to that yellow zone and then do a fake shot or some sort of cutback move in order to get to that red zone, to that danger zone. So that's what I want to protect. So I'm just gonna stay a little bit behind. Do not overplay him and try to stop him. That's exactly what he does. He tries to cut back and then he throws a terrible pass, and that's the end of the threat. So now, jockey and contain. Jockey and contain is really, really effective for when you have to use your center back. Those situations that you have no other choice but to use your center back. It's the only one left. This is a great way. You press the L2 button and the X button, and this will just maintain you between the player and the goalkeeper, and it won't let them trick you with any skill moves. Next thing, second man press. It is important to note, guys, that in FIFA 16, you cannot use the second man press AI to do all the work for you. It is not going to work like that. Second man press is just going to maintain the computer AI player nearest to the ball between the ball and the goal, but he is not going to cut them off like you saw there with Ronaldo. Nobody cut him off. This is a great place to do, though, like what I was showing you in the blue thread. You want protect the middle of the pitch, but you still want him to think that you're actually trying to attack him and trying to stop him from going to the blue zone. So you press the second man press for that person to push towards him while you're in the middle of the zone protecting the actual danger zone, the red zone. The next tip, guys, clear the ball. So many times I see people just try to pass it out, do all this crazy stuff. No, clear it with the B button, with the shooting button. Clear it out, pass it out of bounds, clear it to your goalkeeper, and then let him clear it. Do whatever it has to do, but regroup on defense. Don't worry about going on the attack. Be patient and just clear the ball. Next up, we got the push and pull. That is done by pressing the B button, the shooting button on defense. This is really effective when you're falling behind or when you're right next to an attacker. The one who's going to usually win the fight is the one with the higher strength and the better momentum. At the very least, though, you will slow down the opponent, but be careful because if you hold it too long or you do it inside the penalty, it will be a foul. Next up, slide tackles. Slide tackles are much improved in FIFA 16, but I still do not recommend you guys to do this unless you're an experienced FIFA player. If you really know the range of the slide tackle, then you can do it, but I would not recommend doing it unless if it's like a last case scenario. You know he's going to score unless if you try to do a slide tackle and take the ball away from him. Otherwise, don't do it, and especially near the penalty like you saw there, you'll get a red card if you miss. Next up, breakaways, guys. In my opinion, the best thing to do when there's a breakaway is just to bring out your goalkeeper. Bring him out whenever he's going to do a through ball or a lob through ball, and you think you can get to it before the opponent. Do it, because a lot of times they'll get anxious even if they get to it before, and they won't know what to do, and you'll be able to stop it easily. But be careful, like you see here, if you do it too far out or you don't time it right, you're gonna be giving up an easy goal. Here he shipped it right through. But that's basically it for my defending tutorial, guys. Thank you so much. I really would appreciate if you guys could give a like to this video, share it with all your friends, get it to the biggest crowd possible, because I really spent a lot of time and I think this is really helpful. Click on the left if you want to see all my FIFA 16 tutorials. I'm going to be adding more tutorials as time goes on. I'm going to be making a bunch. Click on the right if you want to see all my Ultimate Team videos. I'm going to do a lot of tip videos through there, and down below to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future tutorials or tip videos.